And then, or is it more partly how many vlogs you post? It's definitely not about the amount you post, though you don't want to post one like a year. That's not going to get you anywhere. Definitely want to post fairly consistently, so something like no less than once a month. I say that because that's about what I do. Probably once a week is the best, or once every 2 weeks. But yeah, definitely no less than once a month. Then
Do you have suggestions for editing software? Affordable or free?
yeah, actually, so that's I mentioned that earlier. See, I have either iMovie or Windows Movie Maker are the two I know that are free. And then there's like Cinerella or something like that for Linux. And so that's yeah, those are the three that I know of. In terms of affordable, I don't really know of any affordable software that does much more than Cinellera. Yeah, thank you, Nina. I don't know of any. I feel like people might be able to put them in here in the chat box better than I could, but I don't really know of anything that's particularly good that costs money. That doesn't cost a lot of money. Excuse me. Yeah, so I'd just go with the free stuff, at least to practice, and then when you're really into it, definitely get the higher end stuff like Premiere Pro or Final Cut. And actually, Final Cut Express is pretty affordable for the Mac, and that's like, I want to say about $100 to $150, and maybe less, maybe, yeah. And that's like it's like Final Cut Pro minus all the pro features, like all the the soundtrack stuff and stuff. But it's really good for video editing if you have a Mac. That's the tough part. And Sandra asks, QuickTime for editing. I have QuickTime Pro, and I sometimes use it for exporting files, but not always great. Not particularly good for editing, I think. But it can be done, and it's like $30, but you can probably get something a little easier to use that's free for editing. But it is a pretty good exporter, actually, QuickTime Pro. And what do you get? Yeah, you get what you pay for, definitely, Johnny. Yeah, and Vegas Movie Studio. Okay, yeah, and definitely just check these out. And I would suggest using the free stuff for a little while you get the hang of it, because everything, it works pretty much the same way across the board. Yeah. The next thing I have here on optimizing for search is the video description. And video description is just like basically talking about what your video. It's just a description, really, nothing fancy about that. I would say it takes about, in terms of search, optimizing for search, I'd say it's about 20% ish, 15 or 10 to 20% ish of what it takes into account. So it's not super important, but it's definitely good for your viewer. You want to provide some information. You can also provide a link in this section, and I always recommend that people put like an Edufire link to their profile in here. And these are definitely really good for driving traffic. And when I first started blogging, I pretty much just use YouTube for getting views to my site. So I'd put a link, I'd talk about something interesting, and then I'd suggest people look at the link and visit my site. So that's something that's really been driving traffic for me, and it can be very useful for Edufire as well, as long as you're providing good content. And then video tags, it's probably the other 40%ish or so, I think. And video tags are just like they're like one-word descriptors of your video. So like, for example, if this right here was on YouTube, I'd say something like Edufire, YouTube, search, I don't know. I just go through all these different things. But one really important thing about the tags is that you try to think of things that someone else won't think of. So don't go ahead and say the obvious things, but also put in things that are pretty obscure, because there are hundreds of thousands of people searching for all these obscure things as well. So especially when you're first starting out, these 100 people or so that are searching for something pretty strange, they're going to find your video and no one else's. So it's really important to put as much information as you can in there. And use that to your advantage, or use the fact that other people aren't doing it to your advantage. And yeah, so I think it's called like the make them chase down the rabbit hole or something like that. But yeah, make it easy for everyone to find your video, basically. All right. So let's get to the social aspect, because YouTube really is a social network, and that it should be treated as such. It's its own entity. Although I have a blog and a YouTube channel that are both the same thing. So really, I make videos on YouTube to get people to go to my blog, but I also treat YouTube as its own entity. So I'm also, I'm making the social links there. I'm responding to things there, and I'm not ignoring everything that goes on there. So I'm taking part in this community, and that's really important. DJ says cross-pollination. That's a great way to put it. So let's see. So the social part is really important, and people love each other on YouTube. People hate each other on YouTube, and it's usually the hate one. But as long as you do things right, you can be pretty friendly with most people, and you won't have that problem. So the first thing is subscribe to get subscriptions, and this isn't something that works on a spammy level, but it is something that will kind of work, especially when you're first starting out. So if you find people who are making similar videos to you, especially who are kind of on the same, I guess, level of hierarchy, oh, that's a terrible way to put it, but the same YouTube social class as you. So if you're first starting out, you're probably in the lower class, and so it's like you go there, comment on someone else's video, write them a message on their wall, and subscribe to them, and then mention something like, "Oh, I'm making similar videos as you. Your videos are really cool. Keep it up." And you never want to say anything like, "Hey, subscribe to me too," just because. I mean, it kind of works on a very shallow level, but it's not gonna work in the long term. It's gonna really hurt you. So definitely, say nice things about other people. People like that for some reason, and then subscribe to them. So you gotta kind of coordinate all these different attacks, so to speak, and then hopefully they'll subscribe to you as well. So this is a great way to get started. And really, the first 100 subscribers is definitely the hardest, and it takes a lot of work. After that, you can just create good videos, good content, and it'll start building up fairly quickly. So I love all these comments here. I'm going to be a dork on YouTube. It's junior high school all over again. Haha, I'm in the YouTube ghetto. Yes, I'll be in the YouTube trailer park. Yes, that's very funny. Yeah, so be nice about it. Be nice to other people, and they'll be nice to you. Or they'll usually be nice to you, but hopefully. And then comments. So probably at first you're not going to get that many comments on your video. Don't get discouraged. But when someone does comment on your video, definitely reply to their comment. There's a reply feature there. And when they write something, you don't have to respond to things like, great, or first comment, lol, lol, lol. But respond to thoughtful comments with thoughtful responses, and people like that. They actually get an email response, or they get an email saying that you responded to them, which brings them back to your videos once again. So it rekindles that link and makes them view your videos twice, which makes someone a lot more likely to subscribe to your videos, I think. If someone comes back to your video twice, they're probably going to subscribe, so that they don't have to worry about it again. Also leaving videos on other people's videos, or leaving comments on other people's videos can be really good. Try to pick a good YouTube name too. You don't want to be like what's that, the internet leak talk, where all your E's are 3's and your L's are 1's. All that. You don't want to go for that. Try to think of something something that doesn't really have numbers in it if you can. And sorry, Lewis. Is that really your YouTube name? And try to make something a little bit shorter. And yeah, definitely, if you have a brand, definitely try to use your brand as much as you can. And just something that people will remember is really important, especially if you're leaving comments on other people's videos. And when you're leaving a comment, try to be engaging in your comment. Don't leave a dumb comment. That's not, most YouTube users don't really read those. So, you know, say something thoughtful, and say something nice about their video. And yeah, this is a really great strategy. Try to be funny. That really, makes you stand out. Philosophical, something like that. So if you're that type of person, this might be a really good strategy for you. And then